House of Representatives says it is investigating the oil companies operating in the Niger Delta region. The chairman, House Committee on Host Communities, Dekor Denumene, says the Niger Delta region has been neglected for too long. He urges the government to ensure the cleanup in Ogoni land is done in good time to improve the lives of the people in the region.
We've commenced interaction with virtually all oil companies in the country. Most of them we have interacted with them, some we have not. We do these interactions because we want to be able to understand, especially their CSR, what is it that is their problem with their communities in terms of vandalism, because even their losses, we request that we need to know what their losses are. Just like we need to know also what they have been able to give out to the communities and how they have done that. Because you will agree with me that in some cases, some of these companies are also reaching out to the communities, but they may not be reaching out to the communities through the appropriate channels. And then that aggravates the issues on ground.
Well, for more on this, we're joined by Nnimmo Bassey, the Executive Director of Health of Mother Earth Foundation. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight. Watching that report, it would make anyone really worried. Now, 65 years of oil exploration in the Niger Delta, and the very first oil spill was recorded some 51 years ago. With that report, does it give a good appreciation of the level of environmental degradation in Ogoni land? How bad is it there?
Well, the Niger Delta is a disaster zone. It's actually a sacrifice zone because of consistent oil spills across over so many years. In 2018 and 2019, NOSRA reported 1,300 oil spills, coming to an average of 5 oil spills a day. Now, no matter what the cause may be, the fact is that we're having one too many oil spills, and the area is totally devastated. The fish ponds, the streams, the creeks, the swamps, everything is polluted. The soil, the water, and the air. So it's extreme case of pollution. It's one of the top 10 most polluted. We keep repeating this so that we just have the magnitude of what is going on. And it's not stopping.
All right. What is the state of the pipelines in the oil-rich region? And then should the IOCs always take the blame where there are what you could call undisputed cases of sabotage sometimes, like you had one of the Shell companies executives say there?
If I should answer from that last question, where there's undisputed case of sabotage, that would be, for example, when militants say we're going to blow up this pipeline and they blow it up. Of course, if they do that, it's known that that is sabotage. Most other incidents that attempt sabotage are not sabotage at all, they're just oil theft. And the question should be, who is the one that is causing this third-party interference? Is it the poor village man? Or is it somebody else who ought to protect the pipeline, or who owns the pipeline? We need to investigate who is causing these breakages. And the fact is that whether it's somebody blowing up the pipeline or the pipeline failed by itself, the oil companies have the duty to stop the spill and to clean up the spill. That's their job to do that. They can't run away from that. The pipelines are running above the ground through people's frontage of people's homes, along streets, rusty pipelines that have outlived their lifespan. The pipelines ought to be replaced after a certain number of years, just like we fix our cars. And then they ought to be buried in the ground, not put across people's homes.
Looking at the level of degradation, environmental degradation and spoilage in the not just Ogoni land, in the Niger Delta as a whole, in terms of remediation, what really can be done?
Well, I think this is very important to consider, considering the fact also that oil is becoming fading away. Mm-hmm. The world is moving away from dirty energy, and so we're going to have a lot of stranded assets across the Niger Delta, both onshore and offshore, in the next couple of decades, if not the next decade. So now, the pollution of Ogoni is undisputed. The UNEP did a report, so we know how much pollution has happened there. But the rest of the Delta, as Ovietime mentioned in the report, yes, Ikarama and so many other places, they are constantly having oil spills. Now, there's no attention towards cleaning up those areas. So this is the time for the government and the oil companies to conduct a total audit of the environment of the Niger Delta and then commence a cleanup process. Now, the Ogoni cleanup was to be done in 5 years, to be followed by 20, so many other years of restoration. Because the fact that you clean up the environment doesn't mean that it's going to be what it was before. The oil spill that occurred in Alaska, in US, in 1989 was thoroughly cleaned up. But some of the species that was destroyed by the oil spills are yet to return to that as we speak.
All right. What has become, you mentioned it a while ago in passing, the report.
Yep.
So what has become of the ruling by both the Dutch Appeal Court and the UK Supreme Court holding Shell liable? What has become of that ruling?
Well, the rulings are all recent, and we are expecting that Shell would do the right thing, which is settle with those plaintiffs, those who went to the court, the poor fishermen and farmers who went to court. Unfortunately, 2 of the original plaintiffs died, but happily the children pressed on with the case. So they should negotiate with the plaintiffs and reach a fair settlement, and also clean up the spills, because the spills still need to be cleaned up. And where that facilities to be decommissioned, they should be decommissioned. So they can't sweep those judgments under the court. They do that with judgments that come from Nigerian courts, but this is where their shareholders are watching, and I'm sure they will listen to the money.
You talked about the need to investigate claims of sabotage of the pipelines.
Right.
And I wonder if that is ongoing, but the House of Reps now is actually going to be looking at, investigating all companies operating in the Niger Delta region. Are you hopeful that something good will come out of it? What do you expect?
Well, they have to understand that the oil companies are operating in joint partnership with NNPC. And so when they say they want to investigate the oil companies, I believe they mean they're going to investigate the Nigerian arm of the partnership. They hold the higher shares than even the international oil companies. But it's important that they want to pay attention. They should pay thorough attention, and they should equally look at the gas flaring issues. Gas flares have been going on for more than 6 decades. And because they could pay a paltry fine, which they don't pay, sometimes they just keep on destroying the environment and killing our people with all these poisons in the air. So they should investigate very comprehensively.
All right, Nnimmo, yeah. Okay. While you were saying that, I thought about the fact that while I was watching, all right, our time is up.
Time is up.
So
all right, thank you so much for